Welcome, guys. This is Glasgow Rangers Nation. I am Owen James, and this is all your latest Rangers news. We've got more talk of the CEO and what is going on with that. We've got a little bit of talk as well about a bit of a update on what we can expect from Big Cass, Nana, as he's been known, Big Kasanwirjo, Big Dave, Narasheo Kasanwirjo, whatever you want to call him. We've got all the latest about him as we build up towards this weekend's game against Dundee United. Now, as we found out on yesterday's podcast, yesterday's video, whatever you want to call each of the publications we put out yesterday, obviously, busy day yesterday for the pod, few things to put out. We didn't do the podcast in the evening, personal reasons for that. Apologies for that. But Adrian Bevington, right? Adrian Bevington was interviewed a while ago now, a few days ago, week ago, whatever it was, and was asked obviously about the Rangers CEO job. And he was asked about the fact that, would that be a job that interested him? Would that be something that, that he would like to do? And could that be a future challenge for him? Now, at that point, he said that, that was certainly something that interested him, certainly something that he would look into. It obviously now appears that story has kind of heated up a little bit, and there's a few more conversations, a few more bits and pieces around about Bevington possibly taking the job. But you know what? Social media has already started on him. We've already started digging up old Celtic tweets, digging up stuff to try and discredit him amongst the fan base. But I honestly think and feel, and feel free to shoot me down over this, but I think we need to get to a point now where we are appointing the best people for the job. Whether they support Celtic, whether they support Rangers, whether they support Manchester United, Tottenham, Arsenal, Liverpool, Middlesbrough, Sunderland, Newcastle, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Bilbao, or Orlando Pirates. I could not care less. If they come in, they do a job, they do a good job, and the job benefits this club, I couldn't give a monkeys who they support, who they sleep with, who they marry, what church they go to on a Sunday. As long as they do a good job in their role as CEO for Rangers, that they build the business side of the operation, that they build the football side of the operation, and they take this club back to where it belongs, back at the top of Scottish football. I think there are one or two people that need to grow up a little bit when it comes to this and realize that it is in this business, in this industry that now is football, and football is a huge global business. It is about getting the best people for the job. And they are not going to come in, even if they support Celtic, even if they support Manchester United or Arsenal or Chelsea or Liverpool, and do a deliberately bad job because they want to disadvantage Rangers, because it will lead to them losing their jobs. It's at the end of the day, whether you shop in the shop you work in, or you work with or you buy from the business you work for, you do not do a shit job to get yourself sacked. You do the best possible job you can to keep your job and pay your bills. That's the way life works. Now, Bevington is someone who has an excellent CV. He's someone who has worked with Club England. He's someone that has worked with the FA. He's worked in the Premiership and the Championship with Middlesbrough. He has an excellent CV. He's been working in German football. He is someone who carries a level of respect throughout the world. He is someone who is known throughout the world due to the work that he has done with the English FA. Now, if we look at this guy's CV, now it does say manager for England. He was never England manager. He was manager of Club England, effectively the chief executive officer of Club England. So if we look at his CV, he started off as part of the press staff at Middlesbrough. He then worked as part of the press staff for England. He was then head of media for England for some 5 to 6 years. I mean, so he's obviously got that side of the business. He knows how to talk to the media. He knows how to deal with the media. And certainly at Rangers, that is something that we badly need. Someone who can work with the media, someone who can deal with the media. We've seen, haven't we, over the last couple of years, that John Bennett is absolutely, genuinely dreadful at that, and the board members are, on the whole, genuinely dreadful at dealing with the media. Certainly something that Bevington isn't. He was manager of Club England. That means he was the chief executive officer of England in effect. He worked with and alongside some excellent managers. Now, who did he work with? He worked with Fabio Capello, one of the best managers in European football history, the guy who's won Champions League trophies. He worked with Sven-Göran Eriksson, a guy who has, God rest his soul, who has won Serie A titles, Portuguese league titles. This is a guy who's worked with real top quality managers. So for me, this is a guy who, it's a no-brainer in terms of, his background in the game. He was sporting director for the Welsh FA. He finished as director of recruitment for Middlesbrough in his last job in league football. That was back in 2019. In recent years, he has been working with a German football agency. So he has obviously kept his eye in. He's kept working within the football industry, and he's someone with an excellent CV. So not only does he bring ability to deal with the media, he brings business ability through his ex-work with ICI, which is a major world company. He brings the ability to work with the football side of the business, to his recruitment work. He brings also the business side of it, from work with Club England, securing sponsorships, securing deals for England, very lucrative deals for the English FA, all work that he has done. He also carries a respect as well amongst the world FAs, amongst European associations, due to the work that he did with England. This is a guy who, it's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer. I genuinely don't understand how people could question Adrian Bevington as a possible candidate for the Rangers CEO job. This would be a top-level appointment. This would be someone who, if left alone to do the job, if given the opportunity to do the job, if he is genuinely interested, could make a huge difference to this club, could take this club forward and finally start to move Rangers into the 21st century. You know, as long as the board stay away from him and let him do his job and don't interfere. I mean, we all know that the Park family, Graham and Douglas, we know that John Bennett, absolutely fucking useless. They are absolutely useless. The guys are asleep at the wheel. They couldn't run a bath. They are just everything that is wrong with the club at the moment. And realistically, will they appoint Bevington? Probably not. They'll probably appoint someone who is their best mate or a crony of theirs, someone they can, keep their hand up their arse and control, because that's what they'll want. They won't want someone who will come in and challenge the status quo or challenge what is going on at the club in terms of the appalling running that is going on from this absolutely dreadful board. So, that is obviously a downside. But for me, this decision to put in place, if Bevington is interested, is an absolute no-brainer. The club should be pulling out every single opportunity to get this man involved with this club. He will secure the deals we need. He will secure the business revenue of the side. He will do the media work. He's got that experience. He will also do the football side of it, having worked, like I said, with some of the best managers that have ever managed in the world. I mean, Fabio Capello, Sven-Göran Eriksson. These are top coaches, guys. Top coaches. Fabio Capello, Sven-Göran Eriksson, 100 times the manager that Philippe Clement is. These are guys who really know how to win things and get things done. Capello, like I said, multiple Scudettos in Italy with AC Milan, multiple Champions League trophies, multiple World Club titles. This is a guy who, Bevington has worked with and learnt from. This is a guy who, Capello is just a top man. And if Bevington has worked, Bevington has worked with him and has learnt from him, it's all good for Rangers at the end of the day. And like I said, I think this is an absolute no-brainer for me. I mean, certainly, Jim Gillespie was a ridiculous idea. And I think it's humiliating that he's turned us down, as ridiculous it was that, that he would be the person to take Rangers forward. So, look, what do you think of it, guys? Adrian Bevington, is he the man for you? Is he a certain person we need? We certainly, for me, need a CEO who can take this club forward. And what is utterly ludicrous is we're still sat here on the 12th of September with no CEO, with no director of the academy and no sporting director still, which is absolutely stupid considering how long we have been without one. It is absolutely negligent of the board, the way they have run this club and refused to recruit for key positions. Is it because they genuinely have no money? They genuinely are that tight? Or is it they genuinely are that arrogant? They think they can do the job themselves, because they certainly have shown over the last few months, weeks, etc., that they are not fit for purpose, and that John Bennett couldn't run a bath, let alone a football club. Right, let's move it along a little bit. Let's talk about Big Cass. That's right, Noasheo Kasanwirjo, or however you say it. Very difficult name to pronounce. I've heard some people calling him Nana, which is an interesting name. What do we know about this guy? So we know that he was signed on deadline day. He comes from Feyenoord, top club in Dutch football, top big club. Certainly, he's played for Feyenoord. He's played at the De Kuip, which is a pretty fantastic stadium. And Feyenoord fans are passionate. Feyenoord fans are demanding. Feyenoord fans are full on. So he certainly has played with that expectation, that pressure, very similar to what you get at Rangers at Ibrox. So that will all stand Big Cass in, good stake for the future. Now he can play centre-back, which is obviously a position of lead. So he could have a Dutch centre-half pairing with Cass and with Proper? Could we have the Orange Legion in the centre of our defence? Or could it be that Kasanwirjo comes in and finally replaces the absolutely hopeless James Tavernier, which I think would be a major step forward? Certainly for me, Tav shouldn't be anywhere near that first team with the way he's playing at this moment in time, captain or not. He should be stripped of the captaincy, kicked into the B team, and someone like Cass should be the right back, or Dujon Sterling. Now, a former manager and coach has been speaking about the type of player we're going to get, the type of player that we can expect from Feyenoord, this Cass, this big Cass, Kasanwirjo, Nana, whatever you want to call him. Now, this comes on the back of comments made by former Dutch international, former AC Milan player, former Ajax player, Michael Reiziger, who called Cass a top player, a guy who can go on to become a Dutch international, an aggressive, forward-thinking, top defender. This is all words that, Michael Reiziger has used about big Cass. Now, this is what his former coach has had to play about him. No, say about him. He's an aggressive defender who plays on the front foot. The only problem is sometimes when he goes into a duel, Nana is too focused on keeping the ball. Sometimes when you duel, you need to only make sure that your opponent doesn't keep the ball. That's the one area in which he can improve. Now, we know that we're not getting a complete article. This lad is a young lad. He's still got areas for development. And that is what you get when you sign young players. You don't get the finished article. You get players that you do need to work with. You do need to develop. And these are things that obviously the coaching staff will need to work on with him. The defenders, the experienced defenders at the club, particularly the likes of Big Leon, can pass on to Big Cass. The advantage for Nana is that he's strong on the ball and capable of playing in midfield, so he can choose moments to influence the game, not only on the sideline, but in the middle of the pitch too. So on the sideline, they don't mean as a substitute, they mean as a right back. Middle of the pitch, they mean as a centre back. You see, with a lot of clubs now, fullbacks can be wingers or play low by the sidelines, sometimes inside the pitch too. That's a position he can fill very well. So it's clear that Kasanwirjo is equally comfortable as a right back or as a centre back. That he can do what we, I think, have been crying out for from defenders, which is to bring the ball out from the back, to engage the opposition midfield, to draw out the opposition midfield, which when you're playing against a low block is something you desperately need. So, Kasanwirjo has that in his armour. He has that ability. He has that talent to do that. It sounds as well as, from this report, from his former coach, that he is someone also that can, get forward, can cause trouble in the forward areas as a fullback, as an attacking fullback. Now, given, what James Tavernier has done in the past, that is certainly something that Rangers seem to want their fullbacks to do, and certainly something that Ridvan does, that Hjefte does, that Fraser does on the left-hand side, and certainly something we'd want on the right-hand side. So that, stands in good stead. And, yes, he has those areas of development, but then again, let's face it, James Tavernier can't defend to save his life. So, look, this is all positive about him so far. Let's see what else this coach has to say. He says, Nana also takes a lot of risks in his dribbling and passing, but he is normally very comfortable in possession. Another area of improvement is that sometimes he can be a player who is totally focused for 89 minutes, but in one moment, everything can be blown away. Now, we know that, like I said, he's a 22-year-old lad. He's a young lad. He's up and coming still. He's still obviously learning the game. So, again, that's something the coaching staff can work on him with. But the fact that, he is comfortable in possession, he's comfortable on the ball, is something we need. We need players, in particular, we need defenders. In the past, we've had a few defenders that have looked like bomb scares on the ball. So it's good to hear that he is a confident guy on the ball, that he has that coolness on the ball. Yes, his focus is something that needs to be developed. The coach goes on to say, I think that playing next to Robin Proper would be good for him to coach him through a game. Those two could be a very good couple in the defence. Not dissimilar to the partnership that Proper had with Mies Hilgers, a faster, younger centre-back at FC Twente. They speak the same language, which can be important detail on the pitch. So this FC Groningen's coach who is talking about Big Cass, maybe this is a player that, we can start to also use him to start to see the best from Robin Proper as well, putting him together with a younger, quicker centre-back. Something that certainly that John Suter hasn't got, that Leon Balogun hasn't got, could really help Robin Proper's game. Yes, that would mean that we'd have to obviously readdress the right back position. I still feel that Dujon Sterling is the best answer there. But, playing him as a centre back could also be the answer as well. Proper there to help him with the focus, help him with the duels, help him talk him through a game. But Kasanwirjo there to help Proper with the speed, with the covering ability that he has. So could it be that there is a perfect balance there with Proper and Cass? It would give Proper back his Mies Hilgers type, where he was confident with Twente, that perhaps he hasn't been as confident with John Suter alongside of him. Maybe these are all things that could benefit Rangers. You know, Cass has a pretty impressive CV in terms of, you know, where he's played and how he's played. I mean, obviously now at Rangers, but he's played for Groningen, he's played for Rapid Vienna, he's played for Ajax, he's played for Feyenoord. You know, he certainly has a wide and varied CV. Yes, a lot of it is in the Eredivisie, but he did play in the Austrian Premier League, or whatever the top Austrian leagues call, with a big team in Rapid Vienna. You know, he's played in Europa League football, in Conference League football. Again, you know, he brings that little bit of experience. So even though he is a young lad, he's certainly someone who carries a little bit of experience. Like I said, yes, with areas of development, which we can work on and develop with him, but still carries a good experience, a good, wide and varied number of clubs that he's played for already, all which hopefully can stand him in good stead for Rangers and help take us forward. Like, you know, I think there was a little bit of concern around Cass when he was bought. There was one or two negative comments from Feyenoord fans, you know, on their website, on ours, on X, as regards Big Cass. But I think, you know, these comments from his former coach at Groningen, from Michael Reitziger, who's a very experienced top defender in Holland, in the past, yes, I know, but still a top player, you know, are reassuring that we've got a decent player in Big Cass. Guys, look, let me know what you think. Is Kasanwirjo an option? Is he someone you'd like to see against Dundee United? I mean, realistically, we probably won't, because the manager doesn't tend to like to play his new signings for whatever reason. You know, it is what it is in terms of that. You know, I think the fans are frustrated with Clement over this ridiculousness of taking 2-3 weeks, 2-3 months, whatever, to settle these players in. It doesn't happen at other clubs. You know, you look at top of the clubs around Europe, players are more than capable of hitting the ground running. It's perhaps how they're coached, how they're managed. Perhaps that's one side, you know, that Clement is not so great at. I mean, I personally think that Clement's man management is pretty poor. You know, the way he treats Yanis Hadji, worse than a dog, I think is not great. And I think, you know, his ability to integrate new signings is not great either. His man management is certainly not very good. So, look, this is where we're at with Cass. Hopefully we can start to see him. Hopefully we'll start to see the best of Big Cass over the coming weeks, and then we'll start to see him introduced. Now, where would you like to see him play, guys? Let me know. Think he's a right back? Is he a centre back? You know, what would you like to see? How would you like to see the back four lineup? Would you want Sterling, Cass, Proper, and Hjefte? Or would you want that to be Dujon? Or do you want Cass to play at the right side, Balogun, Proper, and Hjefte, or Ridvan when he's fit? What do you want to see as our back four going forward? Right, let me know what you think of the couple of stories we've covered in this morning's video. Thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. As always, if you can drop a comment on the video, that'd be fantastic. Helps it grow. Drop a like. And remember always, we are the people.